Welcome in, everybody, to our deep dive into the world of meditation. You're looking to explore this practice, and we've got a fascinating guide for you today. Excerpts from Sri Chinmoy's 27 meditation techniques. Think of this as your express lane to understanding his approach. We'll uncover those core techniques, but more importantly, we'll highlight the unexpected gems and key insights that make his approach unique.
It's a journey inward, but Sri Chinmoy makes it surprisingly accessible. He was a spiritual teacher who shared these techniques with thousands of students, emphasizing that anyone seeking a better and more fulfilling life could benefit from them.
Right, and he doesn't shy away from bold statements. He believed there's nothing on earth that can't be improved through spirituality and meditation. That's a pretty huge claim.
It is, and it makes you wonder what he's tapping into. What's the source of this transformative power he sees in meditation?
Well, he starts by addressing the fundamental question, why meditate? And his answer is pretty compelling. Improved well-being, peace, happiness, even skill development, and making life simpler and more fulfilling.
It's a pretty comprehensive list, appealing to both practical and spiritual aspirations. It suggests that meditation isn't just about escaping reality, but about enhancing it.
Absolutely. And he jumps right into the practicalities with some initial techniques that focus on developing concentration. The classic starting points, focusing on the breath, the heartbeat, even visualization exercises.
Yes, those foundational practices help to train that wandering mind, creating a sense of inner stillness.
But then there's this one technique that really caught my eye, concentrating on the tip of your thumb as if it's your only possession. What's the logic behind that? It seems a bit random.
It might seem that way at first, but what's fascinating here is the emphasis on narrowing your focus to a single point. Think of it like training a lens. The more specific the target, the sharper the clarity. By imbuing the thumb with such importance, you're essentially telling your mind, this is all that matters right now.
Yeah.
It's a powerful way to shut out distractions.
So it's not really about the thumb itself, it's about creating that laser-like focus.
Exactly. But Sri Chinmoy acknowledges that focusing on one thing is easier said than done. Our minds are naturally busy, constantly jumping from thought to thought. So he takes us deeper, introducing techniques for stilling the mind.
This is where it gets really interesting. He talks about using a superior power, the soul's light, to quiet the mind. He even uses this analogy. Trying to control the mind with willpower alone is like asking a fly to stop buzzing. It's in their nature. You need a different approach.
It's a brilliant analogy. It highlights the futility of fighting against the mind's inherent tendencies. Instead, he suggests tapping into a deeper well of energy, something beyond our everyday mental chatter.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So how do we access this soul's light? How do we actually quiet the mind using this different approach?
Sri Chinmoy offers two meditation secrets for achieving this inner stillness. The first is focusing on the heart center, which he considers the safest path. The second is focusing on the crown center, which he says is the fastest, but perhaps more challenging.
Two different paths. I can see how the heart center, with its associations of love and compassion, might feel gentler, more inviting. But the crown center being the fastest path to stillness, I'm curious to learn more about that.
Both options hold incredible potential, and Sri Chinmoy encourages you to explore what resonates most deeply with you. But before we delve into those specific techniques, he introduces another crucial element.
Let me guess. Breathing. I mean, it's kind of essential, right?
You're right, it is. But Sri Chinmoy's approach to breathwork goes way beyond just breathe deeply. He offers a range of techniques that are designed to not only calm the mind, but to also purify and energize the body.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of techniques are we talking about?
He starts with a deceptively simple practice called the thread in front of the nose technique.
A thread? What does that even mean?
Imagine a delicate thread hanging just in front of your nostrils. As you breathe, you want to keep that thread perfectly still, not disturbed by your inhales or exhales.
So it's about breathing very slowly and gently, almost as if you're afraid of breaking that imaginary thread.
Exactly. It's a beautiful way to bring awareness to the breath, cultivating a sense of delicacy and mindfulness.
And what's the benefit of this subtle breathing?
It's about harmonizing the physical and the subtle. By slowing down the breath, we begin to calm the nervous system, creating a ripple effect of tranquility throughout the body and mind.
It's amazing how something as simple as the breath can have such a profound impact.
It truly is. And Sri Chinmoy builds upon this foundation with another fascinating technique, 1-4-2 breathing. This one involves using specific counts in the name of God or a mantra to inhale, hold, and exhale. 1 count to inhale, 4 to hold, and 2 to exhale.
Combining breath counts with the mantra, I'm sensing a theme here. That sound plays a significant role in Sri Chinmoy's approach.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And this is where his techniques start to get really interesting. By incorporating sound and rhythm into the breath, we're tapping into a deeper level of our being.
So it's not just about the physical act of breathing, it's about infusing it with intention and energy.
Precisely. Think about it this way. As you inhale, invoking the divine name or mantra, you're inviting specific qualities into your being. Love, peace, strength, whatever resonates with you.
So the words themselves carry power.
Absolutely. And then during that extended hold, those qualities have time to circulate and permeate your being, even addressing inner blockages or negativity.
And on the exhale,
Those same qualities act as a cleansing force, carrying away what no longer serves you. It's a beautiful process of purification and empowerment.
wow, there's so much more to breathing than I realized. It's like a whole internal alchemy is happening, and this is just one of his breathing techniques.
He also describes alternate nostril breathing, which has a more energizing effect. But he cautions against overdoing it, comparing it to overeating.
That's a funny analogy, but it makes sense. I can see how pushing your breath work beyond your capacity could create imbalances, just like eating too much can make you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. Gradual practice and listening to your body are essential.
This is all so fascinating, but I have to admit, my mind is already buzzing with questions like, how do I choose the right mantra? And what about those other techniques he mentions, like chanting and visualizations? Where do those fit in?
Those are great questions. And it sounds like you're ready to dive deeper into Sri Chinmoy's world.
I definitely am.
Well, then let's continue exploring these fascinating techniques.
Okay, so we've covered the basics of Sri Chinmoy's approach to meditation, the importance of concentration, those fascinating breathing techniques, and the idea of using the soul's light to quiet the mind. But I have to admit, I'm still a bit overwhelmed. There are so many techniques, where do I even begin?
That's completely understandable. Even with a guide as clear as Sri Chinmoy, diving into the world of meditation can feel like stepping into a vast, uncharted forest. But remember, the journey begins with a single step.
That's reassuring. So maybe instead of trying to grasp everything at once, we could focus on what a beginner might find most accessible. Imagine you're talking to someone who's never meditated before. What would you suggest as a starting point?
Sri Chinmoy himself emphasized that everyone's path is unique. He offered such a diverse range of techniques precisely because one size doesn't fit all. But for someone just starting out, I think those initial concentration practices we discussed are a great place to begin.
You mean focusing on the breath, the heartbeat, or even that intriguing thumb technique? Those felt pretty straightforward to me, at least conceptually. You're simply choosing one point of focus and gently guiding your attention back to it when it wanders.
Exactly. It's like training a playful puppy. Be patient with yourself. It takes practice. But with each gentle redirection, you're strengthening your ability to focus, to be present in the moment.
And Sri Chinmoy also mentioned something about purifying the breath before meditating. He suggested repeating the word supreme as quickly as possible for about 20 repetitions. What's the reasoning behind that? It seems a bit different from the slower, more mindful breathing techniques we were just discussing.
That's a great observation. It does seem like a contrast, doesn't it? But Sri Chinmoy believed that the breath is deeply connected to our mental and emotional state. Repeating a powerful word like supreme with that kind of intensity is like infusing the breath with a positive vibration.
So it's almost like clearing out any stagnant or negative energy before you settle into the meditation itself.
Precisely. You're creating a clean slate, so to speak, allowing for a clearer and more focused experience.
That makes sense. So once I've got the hang of those basic concentration practices, what's the next step?
Well, Sri Chinmoy's breathwork techniques are incredibly powerful for deepening your practice. Remember the 1-4-2 breathing we discussed earlier? That one could be particularly effective for cultivating inner peace and releasing negativity.
That one really intrigued me, combining the breath counts with a mantra or a divine name. It felt like more than just breathing, like something was shifting within me.
You're tapping into the power of sound and intention. Each inhalation becomes an offering, an invitation for those qualities represented by the mantra to enter your being.
And that extended hold, I imagine that's crucial for allowing those qualities to really sink in.
Exactly. It allows those energies to permeate every cell to address any blockages or imbalances within you.
And then on the exhale, you're releasing anything that no longer serves you. It's like a complete cycle of purification and renewal.
Beautifully put. And remember, the choice of mantra or divine name is up to the individual. Sri Chinmoy encouraged his students to choose what resonated deeply within their hearts.
So it could be the name of a deity, a specific quality you want to cultivate, or even just a simple word like peace.
Exactly. It's about finding what speaks to your soul. And as you become more comfortable with the practice, you can explore other breathing techniques like the alternate nostril breathing. But as we mentioned earlier, moderation is key. Listen to your body, and don't push yourself too hard.
So we've got concentration practices, we've got breath work. Sri Chinmoy also talks about chanting and visualizations. How do those fit into the picture?
Those are wonderful additions to your meditation toolkit. Chanting, particularly repeating divine qualities as he suggests, can be a powerful way to shift your energy and connect with your inner divinity.
He even talks about feeling like your very existence has become the word you're chanting. That seems pretty intense, like a really advanced practice.
It is a profound experience, but it's about gradually merging with that quality, letting it saturate your being. It's not about intellectualizing it. It's about a felt sense of embodying that quality in every cell of your body.
So it's about a shift in consciousness, not just repeating words.
Precisely. And visualizations can be equally powerful, especially for opening the heart and cultivating love and compassion. Those images he describes, the rising sun and the blossoming flower within the heart, are particularly beautiful.
Those really resonated with me. And I remember him emphasizing the importance of feeling the light increase with each breath, as if you're nurturing that inner sun or flower.
It's about active engagement, not passive observation. You're participating in the unfolding of that inner beauty.
So it's almost like you're embodying those qualities, not just visualizing them.
Exactly. You're drawing them into your being, letting them radiate outward from your heart center. It's a powerful practice for connecting with your own inner light and sharing it with the world.
This is all so inspiring, but I have to be honest, I'm still a little intimidated by the idea of actually sitting down to meditate. I know we've talked about starting small, but what about all the other stuff? Finding the right time, creating the right environment, dealing with distractions. Any tips for overcoming those initial hurdles?
Those are all valid concerns and ones that many people face when they begin a meditation practice. But remember, Sri Chinmoy emphasized the accessibility of meditation, and he offered practical guidance for navigating those very challenges.
So there's hope for us beginners after all.
Absolutely. And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore Sri Chinmoy's advice for creating a supportive and sustainable meditation practice.
All right, we're back and ready to tackle the big question. How do we actually start meditating? We've explored all these fascinating techniques from Sri Chinmoy concentration practices, breathwork, chanting, visualizations, but I think a lot of us might still feel intimidated or unsure where to begin. It's like having all the ingredients for a delicious meal, but not knowing how to put them together.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's one thing to understand the concepts, but quite another to actually integrate them into your life. And Sri Chinmoy recognized this challenge. He emphasized that meditation isn't about achieving some rigid ideal, but about finding what works for you.
So it's not about fitting into some preconceived notion of what meditation should be. It's about making it your own.
Exactly. Remember that sense of playfulness and experimentation he encouraged? That applies here too. Meditation is a journey, not a destination. It's about showing up, connecting with yourself, and allowing the process to unfold naturally.
So no judgment, just gentle exploration. That takes some of the pressure off. But practically speaking, where do I even begin?
Well, one of the most common hurdles people face is feeling like they need to meditate for a long time to reap the benefits. But Sri Chinmoy advised starting small. Even 5 or 10 minutes a day can make a difference.
Okay, that feels much more manageable than the hour-long sessions I sometimes hear about. But how do I make it a consistent habit? I'm worried about my busy schedule getting in the way.
Sri Chinmoy often compared the mind to a restless monkey constantly swinging from thought to thought. And just like training a monkey takes patience and repetition, so too does training the mind. He encouraged his students to make meditation a daily practice, even if it was just for a few moments.
So it's about building that consistency, weaving it into the fabric of my day.
Exactly. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't question whether you have time for it, you just do it.
Yeah.
And over time, it becomes second nature.
That's a helpful analogy. But what about those days when my mind feels extra monkey-like? I imagine distractions are inevitable.
Absolutely. Don't get discouraged if your mind wanders. That's part of the process. Simply notice those thoughts without judgment and gently guide your attention back to your chosen point of focus, your breath, a mantra, an image.
It sounds like self-compassion is key here. No beating myself up if I'm not instantly a Zen master.
Precisely. Celebrate the small victories, those moments of stillness and clarity, and remember that each practice is an opportunity for growth.
That's a great perspective. Now, what about the setting? Does it matter where I meditate? Do I need to create some serene, incense-filled sanctuary?
Finding a quiet space where you feel comfortable and undisturbed can certainly enhance your practice. Sri Chinmoy often spoke about meditating in nature, drawing inspiration from the trees, the sky, the ocean.
Yeah.
But he also acknowledged that not everyone has access to such idyllic settings.
So what about those of us who live in bustling cities? Can we still create a supportive environment for meditation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if you're surrounded by noise and chaos, you can create a sense of inner sanctuary. Find a corner in your home, dim the lights, maybe light a candle. It's about creating a space that invites you to turn inward.
It's about setting the mood, creating a ritual that signals to your mind and body that it's time to shift gears.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of posture. Sri Chinmoy emphasized sitting with a straight spine, which helps to facilitate the flow of energy. It's not about being rigid, but about creating an energetic alignment that supports clarity and focus.
I've heard that before, but I have to admit sometimes my back starts to ache if I sit too long in one position. Any advice for finding that balance between a straight spine and comfort?
Experiment with different cushions or supports to find what works best for you. And remember, you can always adjust your posture if you need to. The key is to find a position that allows you to feel both grounded and alert.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've talked about starting small, making it a habit, dealing with distractions, setting the mood, finding the right posture. It sounds like there are a lot of practical considerations, but ultimately, what did you say is the most important thing to keep in mind as we embark on this journey of exploring Sri Chinmoy's techniques?
Approach it with an open heart, a curious mind, and a sense of joy. Remember, every moment of stillness, every breath taken with awareness is a step towards your highest potential. And as Sri Chinmoy believed that potential extends beyond ourselves, he saw meditation not just as a path to personal transformation, but as a way to contribute to a more peaceful and harmonious world.
So it's about radiating that inner peace outward, letting it ripple out into the world.
Beautifully said. And he believed that this ripple effect was essential for creating positive change.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I feel like I've gained not just an understanding of Sri Chinmoy's techniques, but a whole new perspective on what meditation can be.
And remember, we've only scratched the surface here. His book, 27 Meditation Techniques, offers a wealth of wisdom and guidance for anyone seeking to deepen their practice and explore the boundless potential within.
So to our listener, we encourage you to dive back into the source material, experiment with the techniques that resonate with you, and most importantly, embrace the journey.
Happy meditating.